Alright, so I got up today at 3:30 a.m. to watch this. Alec did not.
I was asleep.
So we've come
I have
together
to go to work.
after he finished work to talk about our best moments, what we thought were the coolest moments, and of course, Elden Ring. We want to talk about that later, but before then, let's talk about some other cool stuff we saw along the way. All this and more.
All this and more after the drop.
Know where we were going. After the drop. After the drop. I thought you were going to say something. Alex is sitting there just chilling. I'm just, holding the entire intro before the drop.
When what you're saying is that good.
It's so good,
I
so
know
concise.
not to interrupt.
Alec knows, man. It's all
I know
good.
when to let the perfection just unfold.
With the professional to just go. First things first, Wonderland. Now, that looks pretty cool.
Wonderlands.
Wonderlands.
There's more than one.
There's many lands
There's so
of
many
wonder.
wonderful lands.
There's many lands of wonder. Now, look, it kind of look cool. It's not really, I don't love Borderlands. I know this is kind of a spin-off. Some people are going to be really excited about this. What are your thoughts?
Look, I really like the Borderlands universe. I think, as you said earlier, I share your opinion.
It's a bit chaotic.
I don't like Borderlands zaniness. This kind of looks like it's turning that up to 11. So I don't know. I think my mileage may vary. But, I mean, I've always loved the Borderlands sort of core gameplay loop and what it does. This feels like it's not going to be a Borderlands game. It's just going to be in that setting. I'm curious to see what they do.
One thing also that we saw that was kind of interesting was an appearance from Hideo Kojima. I thought when I saw that we were going to see a new game, but we didn't see a new game. We just kind of saw a tease of his lineage in terms, well, not his lineage, sorry, his legacy that he's left behind, of course, with Death Stranding, the guy getting in the box.
It was pretty much the best trailer I've ever seen in my
Then getting
life.
out of the box, and I'm like, is this going to be a spin-off espionage thing that I think that Death Stranding is going to be? It just came out saying it's going to be the director's cut. It's coming to PS5. I believe also PS4, but maybe just PS5. I'm not sure. But I don't exactly know what the director's cut is really going to have in it. I mean, maybe just more cinematic moments and more story, I guess.
It really made me want a stealth game set in that universe.
Well, it's already stealth. It actually already is stealth.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
Holding the
talking
breath and going through.
when he zoomed over to that little vent and there was the rat running in it, and you saw the box, and you're just like, man, Kojima's got this style. Like the way he's like, he is a director, man. He's, if you're on his Twitter, every single tweet is a new DVD or a new Blu-ray that he's bought.
Yeah,
he
a new cassette, guys.
Yeah,
a new cassette.
So his style is unbelievable. It really got me excited for the possibility that something will be expanded on in this Death Stranding universe. Maybe in the vein of stealth, but I think it's just going to be some tweaks to it's called Death Stranding Director's Cut.
Yeah, so I think that's the expectation. It's going to be more of the Death Stranding that we know, but it's going to add some extra stuff. Now, speaking of people that have their own signature, this is a terrible segue. Jeff Goldblum. Well, life will find a way. Now, I love this guy. Every time he's on screen, he just has this presence that is so good. He's kind of like what we were talking about Owen Wilson when we were Loki. There's a brand to that. You just
100%.
love that about him.
You don't see the character he's playing. You just see Jeff Goldblum in a costume.
He was actually also, of course, in the Ragnarok. So he's tied to the Loki thing. But look, Jurassic World, whatever it's called. I didn't know there was a
Evolution
1.
2. So
I didn't know there was a 1.
I was unaware that there was a Jurassic World Evolution. It came to market with very poor reviews.
48 on
unfavorable. It's a construction kind of management park sim. You got to manage Jurassic Park, and I don't know. It's something I'm basically just never going to play. But if it's your thing, then get excited because there's a sequel.
Get into it. Next up was the Lost Ark, a MMO that actually came out in 2018. It's being announced. It's being released into the Western market.
Yeah, so it came out in Korea.
Which
we found out.
We just found out before. But editing is a powerful thing. It makes us look like we know a lot more than we actually do. So luckily that is, some people are going to be really excited about that. I've never really heard about this game before. What's interesting is it's kind of a partnership with Amazon Games. We do know, of course, that they're going to be speaking over the next couple of days about New World. That is the first party, of course, Amazon Games product that we're kind of all excited about. I'm excited to see what that is. We're going to be knowing more about that in the coming days, but this is kind of a partnership, Lost Ark.
They also touched on some Among Us content. There was, new kill animations. They look like to be, roles for the Among Us little dudes, the
Scientists and
scientists,
stuff like that. Yeah.
Sheriff. It's more Among Us. They actually, they basically they've cancelled the sequel, and they're just working on the
Which is
core
a good
game.
idea.
I think it's a good idea as well.
If you got a winning thing, then just do that.
Look, I think Among Us is very good, and I hope that they can continue to support it. It is a good game.
It does wear off quickly though. After like
well, I mean, that's what
30 games, I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with this. But like, yeah, sure, it's
that's
good
what
to see
the
new
support's
content.
for.
Yeah,
You know
and
what
this
I
is
mean?
what the
if
new
they can
content
make it if they can make it not a live service, but if they can just continue to support it, it'll be a fun little game.
Yeah, definitely. On top of that, there's also been a new game publisher announced, Prime Matter, which is associated with Koch Media. They do like Metro Exodus and Saints Row and stuff like that.
Dead Island.
So look, I think there's a great space to actually announce new development studios or publishing studios, which we'll get to later also. It's kind of a, this show isn't really associated with any console. So again, it's a great place to show that there's new things coming. A lot of people, I'm sure, are very excited about that.
It's a great segue to talking of exciting. We have the Overwatch 2 skin reveal.
This is embarrassing, man.
It actually astounds me.
When I watched this, I was
Blizzard thought it was a good idea to put that bloke on the stage and say, here are the 2 skins for Baptiste and Sombra.
I don't know if Blizzard thought that they were doing Jeff a solid by like further legitimizing the show, but it didn't need that. Like, it's already doing well. It didn't need 2 stupid skins. And for them to reiterate there's going to be 5v5 going forward, what they really should have done is further reiterated the recent announcement of it's going to be crossplay. Like, let people know that,
Yeah.
That would have been so much better.
It was awkward.
It was awkward, and when it finished the reveal of like, what was that? Why did you even show us that? It was ridiculous. I want to throw this in just to say I'm really worried about Overwatch 2. Like, this is just becoming
I'm
a
upset
giant
you
meme.
sent me that trailer and wasted my time.
Just bad. On top of that,
trailer.
it wasn't even a trailer. It was more like a meme.
What really interested me throughout this show was this new game announced by Sega called Endless Dungeon.
It's seems actually made by Amplitude though, and published by Sega.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be a Microsoft exclusive. Now, there have been some whispers. It's known quite broadly that Microsoft are really interested in purchasing a Japanese developer, big developer, or even a publisher. And those whispers continue, or if you further go down the rabbit hole, that Sega's the one they're really locking in on.
Sega makes sense, really. I mean, it's not the most powerful console. It's not the most powerful game company that it once was. I think it's definitely in a position where a good price might tip it over the line and get them to actually sell. But the actual game itself is an isometric looking shooter dungeon crawler thing.
Yeah.
Kind of looks exciting, but the more IP that Xbox can secure right now, the better. Kind of, they really need it. So kind of looks exciting. Also on top of that, Far Cry 6 we saw from the Giancarlo Esposito. He was Esposito, like, that's so funny. I always think of just that song.
Esperanto?
No, Esposito.
Despacito.
Despacito, that's it, sorry.
Yeah, so Far Cry 6 is about a Spanish-speaking popular song.
Singing dude with some like hot girls in the background, of course. Now, look, I was expecting when he came out, it's about a 3-minute interview, talk about the game. Not really, it was more like just to get to know the actor thing. But on top of that, NieR Automata, Fall Guys skin, 2B, expect some Rule 34 skin stuff from that.
I'm sure there was already Fall Guys Rule 34.
But with 2B, man, that's going to be some extra stuff. Anyway, also there's a new dev.
Yeah, so there was Dave Anthony and Jason Blundell from Treyarch, actually. They've broken off and they've formed their own studio. And they've partnered with... They have deviated. They've created Deviation Games, which seems to be a second-party relationship with Sony. I am very interested to see what comes from this. They basically said, we have nothing to show you, but stay tuned. But given where they're from, and given...
the IP they worked on.
Sony kind of could do with a big first-person shooter franchise. Like, Killzone's pretty much gone. Resistance is pretty much gone. They don't really have anything to fill that space. And I'm sure that Sony are looking at Call of Duty sales. Battlefield 2042 is announced, and I'm sure it'll do very well. It wouldn't surprise me if Sony are looking to get a slice of that first-person shooter pie.
Xbox has it with Halo.
Yeah, this makes sense. This is actually very interesting, and whilst we have nothing now, I'll be really keenly watching these guys and see what they put out.
But it's important to also mention they said that they kind of wanted to do their own thing because they felt constricted. A little bit of shade, I kind of feel, for the Call of Duty kind of crew. But it also may mean that they don't want to do another Call of Duty. It may mean that they really want to do something outside the box. So we got to be prepared for, like, it may not actually be a Call of Duty game or a first-person shooter that they have been known for before. Who knows?
I think if Sony are going to sign a second party or sign a partnership with the guys that created Call of Duty, I'm pretty sure Sony are doing it because they're making a Call of Duty style game, a shooter.
Yeah.
But look, I'm happy to be proven wrong, but it makes sense, and I think it's smart.
Definitely. Last thing we'll touch before Elden Ring is Tunic, Zelda-looking, kind of old-school, isometric, kind of dungeon crawler thing.
Yeah, like
there's a few things I'm throwing in
looks
there.
like Oceanhorn a bit. It's like that kind of isometric Zelda style game.
It definitely has that indie feel to it. Look,
It might be cool.
It could be cool. Who
It's
knows?
not my thing.
Yeah.
It might be my thing, but it didn't really.
It's not my thing. It might be my thing.
It didn't really.
But which
tickle
one is it?
My fancy. My fancy is untickled.
Is it? Okay. Alright, cool. Well, guys, the moment you've all been waiting.
Speaking of tickling, we're talking about the ring.
This tickled me fancy, this one. I was surprised to see that we did, in fact. Look, this is really legit. Quickly, this is really legitimizing the game, the Summerfest games for Jeff Keighley to show Elden Ring. A 2-minute. Unboxing of what this game really is going to be in some capacity. We didn't really see gameplay. We really just saw some cinematically kind of put together moments.
I think it was a lot of gameplay. That was all captured in game.
No, but you know what I mean. But like, it was very like, they're not.
I know what you're saying.
They're not walking around and exploring. It's more like, let's just show the coolest moments in combat.
Yeah.
And show some of the world building.
Yeah. Firstly, to your point before, I think this show, the Summer Games Fest show, would have been
a flop,
a bit of a stinker if it wasn't for the Elden Ring drop. Yeah. It was huge. So fortunately, it was there.
Elden Ring is the Cyberpunk of this year in terms of E3. Like, everyone was just waiting for Cyberpunk stuff, and this is what Elden Ring is now for this.
Yeah. So look, there was that Elden Ring leak, like I want to say 6, maybe even 8 months ago. There was this video, that was this trailer that was put up. And very quickly taken down. If you were quick or if you know where to look, you could watch it. And there was like, is this the real thing? It was the real thing. What we saw back, 8, 12 months ago, it looked exactly like this, and Elden Ring's here. It's the real deal. Of course, Elden Ring is the latest creation of Hidetaka Miyazaki, and he's crossed his path with George R.R. Martin. Of course, Game of Thrones fame. So they've created this new world. It looks part fantasy. It's got a lot of aesthetically. It has a lot of Bloodborne influence injected to it. There's a lot of gothic, architecture. It's kind of a cross between Dark Souls and Bloodborne in terms of its appearance. But the thing that just excited me most is, like, if you hadn't told me what it is, or if you just put it in front of me for probably less than 5 seconds, I would have been able to tell you that this is a From Software game. Yep. From Software have just developed this real style in the same that when you look at a Bethesda game, when you look at Fallout and Skyrim, you look at it for a moment and you're like, that is a Bethesda game. That was made in the Creation Engine. Like, the same thing with From Software. This looks like From, and I cannot wait. You just played Dark Souls recently.
I played Dark Souls and I played Bloodborne. I played Sekiro before, played Dark Souls 3. So
you cannot wait.
I love this genre now. And I think that the one thing that stands out is other games really do build a lot of lore into it. But this, From Software...
Through exposition.
This just visually is some of the most amazing stuff that I've seen in games. And I cannot wait to see what they do with this. To have George R.R. Martin included in this, and for him to be building the lore, and them to be, visually building out the lore that he's kind of thought up for this game. I don't know the extent of the partnership, but I'm guessing he's pretty involved. And I think that, if they can bring their visual expertise to his kind of way of bringing things to life on paper, could be pretty damn cool. And it just looks so amazing. And as we were doing, off camera, looking at some of those moments where a still image and you could see the background of the cathedral and seeing how, detailed some moments are, it looks incredible. And even if I wasn't a fan of FromSoft, even if I had no idea what the actual FromSoft brand was, and I looked at this game and I looked at this trailer, I would still be very interested. Like, I don't need to like Souls to be interested in this. It just looks incredible.
Yeah, there's no doubt this is going to be this game is going to be huge when it is released.
Game of the year.
The fact that we now have a date It's in January 21st next year. So
I mean, it could be pushed back, but who knows? I don't know what the history of FromSoft pushing back games are.
they usually land it.
Do they? Okay, cool.
Yeah, they usually stick the landing.
Nice.
This is when it's coming out. Comes out.
Nice.
So I'm really excited. The only thing I'm a bit skeptical of is with Martin's inclusion, we might have to wait 30 years for the good ending.
You might need to rewrite it.
Yeah, exactly right. So maybe check for the reviews before you buy. But no, I mean, look, it's Elden Ring. It's exciting, and I think it was definitely a showstopper.
Oh, definitely. And look, I mean, again, I think you're right. Before we finish, if they did not have this particular show at the end of it, a lot of people would have walked away and thought, okay, I saw some cool stuff, I guess, but this doesn't really... I feel like it really actually competed almost with some of the other showcases that we're going to see, because it had the best of the best. Like, if we see something from Halo Infinite, people are going to be like, oh, that's kind of cool, but Elden Ring, you know, like... Nothing in this showcase for the next 3 or 4 days over the E3 weekend is going to compare to the hype that a lot of people are feeling for Elden Ring. And I know it's like a big statement, but it's kind of true. And the moment you're able to include that in your show, it really legitimizes and allows you to compete with whatever PlayStation, Nintendo, or Xbox has in store the next couple of days.
That's if they don't show God of War and Breath of the Wild.
Well,
too.
I think we will see God of War. I don't know, but like... It's we know what God of War is. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't know what Elden Ring was.
Well, it was going to be a FromSoft game.
Well, fine, but like, it's the same with Cyberpunk. A lot of people were so desperate to see what that was back in 2018 and 2019. I know that the reputation's been tarnished, of course. We're talking about back in the E3 days, the hype around it. Elden Ring feels the same to me at the moment, where there was so much mysterious kind of what is this? A bit like Death Stranding also. And regardless of what God of War is or Breath of the Wild 2, we already know the DNA of that. So there's only a certain amount of hype that can come with that. All right, guys, but look, that's kind of where we sit. I'm very excited to see what we have over the next couple of days. We're going to be covering E3 as much as we possibly can. Sunday seems like the biggest day that we need to be covering a lot of stuff. So stay tuned. We'll try and do some...
We've got a long weekend. We will do it.
We will do it. We've
got a 3-day weekend.
Yes, we will do some post stuff, and also maybe we might watch the entire show and then upload just like our actual reaction to it. We're not sure what we're going to do. But we will see. Stay tuned. We will see you next time. Laymen out.